they are set up to fail, the AFLW. Yeah. It's wonderful that the AFL keeps supporting it, but are they supporting it really?
It's almost like the question that's being asked is, but what if it fails? Instead of going, but what if it flies?
Gel me. Welcome back. It's another episode of everyone's favourite podcast. That's confirmed. That's a fact. It's Too Good Sports news told differently. I'm Georgie Tunney.
I'm Abbey Georgie, and I think I accidentally just did a Trump-like movement, which is not ideal in my dance because I was excited to see you. And that's very topical because, of course, we had the World Cup final, which was a millennial dream because what do you mean that in the halftime show we get Madonna into Ted Lasso, into Bieber, followed up with Shakira and some Coldplay in the middle?
Yeah.
And I know that there was anyway, there's so much to talk about. Honestly, when we think about sport and what is happening between the World Cup, we're getting to the business end of both of our favourite codes. In addition to that, the tour's on.
Yep. We've
got a Com Games on our damn doorstep. It's almost too much.
Almost too much. And I thought, Jelmy, like we should actually, we actually don't have time. We've got negative 3 hours to go through everything that we need to get through. Like I have so many tabs open with all of the things that we need to discuss, okay? And my brain can't function until we close some of these loops. I have been creating an agenda for us to go through. So I think it's only fair that we start with our good sport, bad sport. And I'm going to kick things off because, yes, I am still living in a post-World Cup world. And you know what? It is less joyful, but also I've got so much more time on my hands because why is the World Cup so long? Bad sport. Why is there a million teams? Why is FIFA thinking about having another bloody 16 or however many it is at the next World Cup? Like there's already 100 plus games already, and you can guarantee that Argentina's got to play in all of them.
So there's already 48 teams up from 32, and they're saying that it's going to go to 64? Is that the next?
They're thinking 64 for the next World Cup. Yep.
And it's going to happen. These things never shrink, and it's always about commercial realities, but it also is. For my thing, across the World Cup, there were 104 matches, which the time zone, as someone who gets up very early with kids, it was ideal to be able to turn on and just watch some beautiful football. And you naturally care about it because it's the one shot in 4 years of it all.
Was it beautiful football or was it just fun football? I feel like
it was fun.
It was fun. It was fun. There were no, don't get me wrong. No one come for me. I had a great time. Great tournament. I think we all know Erling Haaland, one of mine. One of ours.
The taxidermy, one of his.
The taxidermied raccoon is going to go down in folklore, okay? That is incredible from the man. His YouTube vlog series throughout, I know he has one anyway, but like throughout the World Cup, also that will go down in folklore. He is everyone's favourite player. I mean
also the fact that he's just randomly commenting on people's Instagram reels. So random people are just making reels and tagging Erling Haaland, and he just replies being like, ha, ha, ha. and that gets 1 million likes because everyone's like, what do you mean that you're doom scrolling like everyone else?
I know. Which I did love. However, I do have a bad sport about my World Cup hangover, other than just how long the tournament is. Also how long the final was, and also how not great of a game the final was. But it does involve the leader of the free world being Donald Trump not getting off the stage during the celebrations for Spain.
And one of the Spanish players actually did the dance looking at him, mocking him as they were like, get off the stage. It was just as if interfering for the red card wasn't enough. It was giving like dad calling to get you out of detention and everyone being embarrassed by that. And I think the world was glad that America got eliminated because up until then they'd had a great tournament, right?
Yeah.
But how in plain sight FIFA was corrupt and he was like, yeah, I love sport. Babe, you didn't go to a single match. There was 104 and you went to the final. I love sport. I'm good at sport. Anyway, I'm
but
planning
the
to
photo
go
up
to the
at
US
the
at
end,
some
he
stage
was
in my
there.
life, but
He was
god
there.
damn.
I also really enjoyed Infantino trying to get him out of the frame. I mean, we've all been that person, right? Being like, okay, just trying to wrangle a friend, just being like, okay, you don't need to be here. You don't need to be here. Let's just move out. Let's move out the way. Come on, let's move out the way. And just absolutely failing. And I thought, hey, it's technically a bad sport because, you know, photos live forever. Photos live forever. And so the Spanish team's going to have that forever. But
This is a perfect segue. So I'm going to interject because if we're going to talk about photos that live forever, made in a lab, Lamine Yamal and Lionel Messi. Who approved a grown man bathing a baby in a promo shoot?
Yeah, it's the new hand
It
of
wasn't
God.
that long ago. What was it, 2006? And then the prodigal child grows up to play against you and beat you in a World Cup. And the only reason there is that iconic photo, and anyone who doesn't know what I'm talking about, how are you not on social media over the last week? But Lamine's mum won a UNICEF raffle to have her child have a photo with a much younger looking Lionel Messi in a bath. And there's these gorgeous photos. He's the most beautiful baby. And then you flash forward literally 20 years. He's 19 and he's seen as the prodigy that is going to be the next great thing. And he's playing a 39-year-old Messi in a World Cup. Now, I know that people, like, when you talk about sport, it's the hand of God when it comes to football. People believe in a higher power. And it was like in that moment, in that bath, there was something holy about the water.
Oh, yeah. No, the hand of God is Messi holding Lamine. So he is the chosen one.
That is the new hand of God.
Chosen one. That's the new hand of God. Like, that's what it is. 100%. Also, the odds of that, I think it's like something like 1 in 600 trillion. Like, it in all honesty, because of the raffle of it all, it's beyond, like, it's beyond fiction. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you can't dream up this kind of a story.
And if it was fiction, you'd be like, well, that's a stretch.
Yeah.
If that happened in a movie, you'd be like, yeah, cool, because the kid makes it to the World Cup.
And I do applaud you there trying to make that the actual story when it comes to the Yamals, but it's not. It's his younger brother, Kane, because he stole everyone's heart. And if you haven't seen footage of this, he's either 3 or 4. I think he's 3 turning 4. This little 3-year-old who is dancing in the stands just looking at his brother like he is God, not the hand of God. He is God. It is the cutest thing that you will ever see. So yes, he can be good sport to help us through this World Cup hangover.
And I do think when we look back on it with the Socceroos, I think by and large it was a good campaign for the Socceroos. I think that they finished roundabout what we thought they might. I think that first win against Turkey gave us all this buoyed idea of what it could be, and the fact that it was 2-0. They were the only 2 goals that we scored for the tournament because everything got real defensive from that point. And of course there was an own goal. But I do think that I'm really buoyed about how young the Socceroos are. And we've heard that term so often, that we're youthful, and we fielded one of the youngest teams in the World Cup. But I think we did fall a little bit back in love with soccer. I feel, at least the men's game. We've loved the women's for a long time.
Well, I tell you what, it's really like, I'm so excited for the Women's World Cup again, if I wasn't already.
I know.
So excited for it again next year in Brazil. Are you joking? Like, oh my God.
And also, again, the Erling Haaland of it all. Like, it just makes you realise, I love the fact that when you look at fans at World Cup finals and yes, mobiles being the biggest change, but the painting and the emotion on the face hasn't changed in 100 years. Like, the investment and what it means. I loved the 3 lions, 3 blokes that dressed up as lions randomly in the crowd. Like, I don't know. There's something. And what I will say, though, bad sport. Or something that I'd like to see changed about the World Cup. The 3rd bronze medal, where you don't get a bronze medal playoff, should not count towards a golden boot. Because if I'm Messi sitting at home and I'm like, yeah, cool, there were 10 goals in that game, I would judge Mbappe if he didn't leapfrog me in that point. Like, it's almost, they start all the stars on the bench. There were 6 rotations per team. Like, what do you mean? If England really want to win, is Bellingham on the side? Absolutely not. But the fact that there were just that many goals made it really entertaining football. But when winning a golden boot is a huge achievement, firstly, it changed the overall tally. Yeah. So Mbappe then went to the most of all time. Mm-hmm. But then you've also got, for the actual tournament in isolation, he also leapfrogged Messi in that, of which Messi's like, oh, I got to score 2 in the final now. I'm sure that's exactly I won't translate
gonna
that for
do
you. That's
that.
exactly what Messi thought. Oh, God, I'm tired.
Oh,
Hope it
tired.
goes to penalties. So at least I
Argentina's
can
like,
count.
we're not even going to bother taking any shots at goal. Spain, you take 48. We'll see how we
It
go.
was an unbelievably entertaining match because it was bonkers.
The bronze one.
But I do think, but I do think it's one of those things that, especially if you're an athlete, we heard from both coaches saying there are heartbroken men on that field. Like they
different view. I agree with you about the golden boot of it all, but I like I liked all of that. I liked them, letting loose, even though I don't necessarily think the players cared that much. But I cared. I thought it was fun. I like it. I was like, yes, give me 10 goals in a game.
Okay, so Georgie, you're the single most competitive person I know. Can you imagine if you finish the amazing race and they're like, by the way, you're not winning it, but you've got to do one more stage. It's not over for you now. You've got to play out for not the big prize, but you've got to go again and you're exhausted. You're heartbroken and you have to go out. I would be like, I'm sick.
No, but you forget.
I wouldn't play.
Yeah,
I wouldn't play.
I can say something that would, though. That would make you play, which is why, because we are the ultimate competitors, despite not having skill. And that is, well, I guess you'll just finish 4th.
I'd cop that.
France had not.
France had an amazing tournament and then somehow end up losing their last 2 games.
Lie.
And
You
then
are not copping 4th. Lie.
No one remembers. That's the only reason I would cop it is no one remembers who came 3rd or 4th.
Okay.
Are you kidding?
Okay. All right. Speaking of tournaments, I've got another bad sport. Speaking of tournaments, because the Commonwealth Games is upon us.
Yes.
And of course, long-time listeners of this podcast will know that we've had, 1 or 2 conversations about them, just a few little conversations about them just every now and then. But I just wanted to say, potentially, look, and it's the fault of the times, probably the fault of, my industry, your industry, the media industry, but a little bit of bad sport. I just feel like no one is getting around them. So, and I feel bad for the athletes. I feel bad for the athletes that are going to go to the Com Games. They're going to give it their all. It's very important for their own personal training. It's very important for their own personal development. And so, and the diamonds of it all. So I would like some more respect on the Commonwealth Games. They're happening. So let's respect
It's giving our women's cricketers winning the World Cup and everyone being like, wait, when? Which World Cup?
Yeah.
What? It's the scheduling of it all, and you can't help it. At least there's no overlap between obviously the Football World Cup or the FIFA World Cup, but it's the fact that even cycling, the first couple of stages of the Tour de France is happening in Spain while Spain is in a World Cup final.
Yeah.
You actually just can't compete with that, right? It's I completely agree with you.
Yeah.
One thing, again, this is onto a good sport. We're working well here, the yin and yang of it all.
Yes, we're getting through the list.
Friend of the pod, great friend of the pod, who we hope found a rental in Perth, Nina Kennedy, who in recent weeks has beaten literally the Asia Pacific record, her own PB and the Australian record on the way through. She is flying after having an injury, after we know that she had the golden moment in Paris. She is so far a hot favourite, I can't even begin to tell you, particularly because Katie Moon isn't from the Commonwealth, baby. Hey! But the good sport of it all is that Europe has brought in new regulations about how female athletes are filmed in track and field. I am wildly into this. And Nina Kennedy has recently posted something to her Instagram essentially going, when you watch the Olympics, I often look and go, God damn, they're so beautiful. And especially the high jumpers and the angles of it all is sometimes lost on me just how sexualized they are. There are slow-mos and shots that come from different angles of women that are wearing not much because they don't get to wear much when they compete. And they've had enough. So there are new regulations that there are certain angles that you will not be seeing anymore of, especially around the groin region for women when they're going up over the high jump. And also just these idea that they're athletes first and they shouldn't be worried about what camera angles they're being filmed at.
I've got to say, to be honest, I'm with you because I always just see it as like an, oh my God, aspirational. You're like a...
Oh, it's a Victoria's Secret sport.
It's unbelievable. So I hadn't, and I don't see it see those shots as sexualized because I guess I've never had that in my mind. I'm just like, God, they're so impressive. But for them to feel that way, and if the athletes are responding this way, then it has to be a positive thing. Like if they're for it, then of course this is the right move. So good sport.
Very, very good sport. And our team is a good sport because we're sending over some unbelievably amazing athletes. I'm so excited about track and field. I could fall over.
Oh my God. Jelmy, yes, the Jess Hull of it all, but also it's incredible. It's insane. It's insane what we're doing.
The men's 1,500 metres, like the mile, is going to be one for the ages.
Yeah. And also remember, guys, short. At the swimming, just remember short. He's going to be doing something incredible, I think.
I know. Swimming without Arnie or Kaylee or Emma feels strange.
Yeah, but I think now I think the men are going. I think it's going to be, you know how everything happens in a cycle. I think the men are going to come back, and short's going to lead that. That's my hot tip. That's my hot tip. And obviously the professor's going to be
What
there
about your boyfriend, McAvoy?
Yeah, he's going to be there. He'll be there, you know, revolutionising the game again, I'm sure. But I just think that, this might be, I'm very impressed. I'm very impressed with our male dolphins right now. I'm like, what are we?
Love that the Victorian government is paying for it. Long-time followers of the pod will know that we've done 8 episodes of me being angry at the Victorian government fumbling what would have been. Can you fathom if we had that track? I actually can't do it.
I know.
I can't talk about it again because that track and field team in Australia would inspire the next generation of athletes. It would have been, I can't.
It was I remember going to now this is shows how old I am. There was something called the Goodwill Games. Do you remember that? And I remember it was I don't even know if it's just a Brisbane thing, but
I was about to say, all right, your Queensland is showing. I've never heard of that in my life.
Okay. I thought it was like a big thing. Anyway, I was like, if I had skill, I remember going to QE2, so like ANZ, which is where the Broncos used to play before Lang Park, and I remember going to that stadium to watch all of these incredible track and field athletes, and I had my green and gold face paint on, and I was like, this is just so fun, and I wish I had any type of skill to be scouted to join one of these teams.
One more good sport from me, given that we just spoke about Nina Kennedy, before we get into our main discussion, which again is going to be a little bit of good sport, bad sport, but also just general hot takes and things that we've seen at the moment. So things are about to get a lot hotter after the break. But in the interim, if we are talking about pole vault, Mondo, the man that just keeps beating his own world record, was speaking about what it's like to compete after being married.
I really don't know if I'm supposed to or whatever. I think I'm scratching it up, but I just don't really feel like taking it off. So I just jump in it anyway. And if I get some bruises on my finger, calluses, so be it, I guess. Yeah. I'm just going to keep going until something, whatever happens, I guess. But no, I really like it. I feel really powerful with the ring on. And I feel like I'm jumping for, something a lot bigger than myself. So I'm really enjoying this honeymoon phase that we're still in after this wedding. So it's really cool.
Get that man in a rom-com. Are you joking? Get him in a rom-com.
He's the ultimate golden retriever. And do you know what he thinks his greatest achievement in his career is going to be? A Grammy. He's on the record as saying, and you know what? I'd buy the album, sir. Rarely do you see a bloke that gushy about their partner. Oh my God, I've got one more of those. Hold on. I've got so many.
Joey, you've got even more tabs open than me.
I do. Henry Patton, who won the doubles at Wimbledon.
I saved this too.
She can't be here today. How come your fiancée wasn't given the day off to be here? She's a doctor, so she's been on call all week. So I hit a yellow tennis ball and she saves lives. Like I say, she's got a proper job, and I'm so proud of her for what she does. She works way harder than me, and I can't wait to see her.
That's a great excuse.
Henry, I think we
green
both know
flags everywhere.
Green flags everywhere. However, I'm pretty sure we both know, Henry, that tennis balls are green. So that's the ultimate green flag, is if you acknowledge that rather than calling it yellow. But again, I'm loving this. I'm loving this outward display of affection. I love that we're so feral about it because it just goes to show that it hasn't existed.
Yeah.
It's the
full credit to the boys of it all.
Oh. I'm like, it shouldn't be that crazy. There was lots of athletes actually to go back to the World Cup. Yes, I'm still in the hangover mode. For the World Cup that were wearing like athletic tape on their wedding ring fingers because they don't wear their wedding rings, but they had athletic tape on there throughout a lot of their matches, which I also thought was really quite lovely and in the spirit, in the vein of the rom-com of the sport of it all, which I mean, let's be honest, is the ultimate genre right now.
I have told Kane that if he doesn't want to wear a ring, it's okay. He can get a tattoo. And he's like, oh, yeah. And he looked at his finger. I'm like, no, right here. On the forehead, sir, if that's not for you. So no worries.
Abbey.
Because a lot of a lot of athletes can't actually get their rings on and off.
Why? The knuckles?
Yeah, the knuckles and the general breaking and dislocation of it all. Anyway, that is a real sidestep. We're going to get into some hot takes after this. Georgie, in the land of podcasting and sports broadcasting, there are a lot of people, as you know, that have made a career out of having hot takes.
Oh, yeah.
Doesn't matter what end of the polarising world they're going to live in, they're just going to say something to make you mad. I really try not to be that gal.
You actually do.
Because I realise that we're talking about people's lives and you need to allow room for everyone to have an opinion.
Yeah.
I unknowingly had a hot take during the week that has blown up my DMs.
An accidental
because
hot take.
I said something that I thought was pretty blatantly obvious, but the debate around it I find remarkable. It is about the women's competition in the AFL. And again, as soon as I say it, you're like, well, that is a pretty hot take. I may have said the AFL is getting embarrassed by the NRL in how they integrate the women's competition and allow their female players and their female teams to be part of the big moments, whether that's to have the best and fairest on the same evening, whether that's to have a double header of a grand final, having the competitions running simultaneously. It's also the magic round and the state of origin of it all. Actually having state of origin, point one. But point two, allowing for something like magic round, which is of course akin to gather round, to have a female exhibition as part of it. And note that this year's women's NRL game outrated the men's AFL that was up against it nationally, right? All of this we knew, but it came to a head for mine because the AFL has refused to firstly, they've refused to schedule the match at the SCG, but then they've refused to move it from North Sydney Oval to the SCG. I'm talking about an international between Australia and Ireland that's happening on the 1st of August, the first international. And I will flag, this is being purely funded by the AFL. So there is progress there. And we know that the AFL pours tens of millions, reportedly 50 million, at a loss every year into the women's game as it stands because of the expansion rate and just the amount of teams that we've seen and the level of competition. And also, at this point, the lack of return, right, in terms of rights and in terms of ticket sales.
Yep.
We also know that the highest record crowd for a women's match that we've ever seen was in 2019 in Adelaide, and it was 53,000 people at the first AFLW grand final. Yep. So why, when you're doing an international game, the first time that we've had rep footy for women's at this level, do you put it at a ground where there's 9,000 people? And of course it sells out. But then the AFL choose to go, by the way, these are the pubs you can watch it at.
I am dismayed but not surprised that these facts that you are talking about became a hot take, became something for everyone to have an opinion on. Do you know what I mean? Because in my mind, you've done some analysis and you've reached your thesis, and your thesis has been proven correct because of X, Y, Z. It's frustrating to me because I'm just thinking, and maybe this is just the way that our brains have been molded and influenced over the course of our career, maybe just the course of our lives, by society as a whole. But immediately I'm like thinking about the counter arguments as you say those. And then it's like I have to like dismiss them from my head. So you're like, well, you know, they had the record crowd in 2019. So the counter argument to that is just like, well, then obviously it's dropped off because that was the big thing. There's no interest there, la, la, la. And I was like, well, actually, no, the argument is probably that because because the AFL continues not to have these games and these kind of huge exhibition games in a stadium that can support having larger crowds. Of course, you're not going to get a 53,000 crowd if you refuse to put matches in a 53,000 seat stadium.
So I can tell you the counter arguments because they're living rent-free in my mind, because at this point 1,300 people have commented on said video having very hot takes. The response was it was free or a gold coin donation to go to that match. And it was in a town that is obsessed with footy. We know Sydney not to be so. As in, it is a really tough market. We've even spoken to Adam Kingsley about the fact that it's arguably one of the toughest markets in the world to have cut through for a sport. That's point one. Point two is we know that, and this is the argument that people are saying, that attendances for AFLW hasn't been particularly high. But I would argue that's because the season happens at a really strange time when people are starting to get over footy.
Well, it is honestly, it's the setup of it all, and I mean that practically and logistically. Like, they are set up to fail, the AFLW. Yeah. Like, it's wonderful that the AFL keeps supporting it, but are they supporting it really? That's what I think. That's what I think the honest question it needs to be asked, because we all want to see it succeed. We all want to see it grow and grow and grow. We all want to see it get to a better standard. We all want that. So it's just really frustrating for me when people either refuse to let that happen, see that happen, refuse to acknowledge that, and hit it when it's down. I'm just like, you need to give it grace. You need to give it time. The NRLW, yes, is, in my personal opinion, leaps and bounds ahead. And I just think that is because it's
behind
been handled
on expansion,
so much.
ahead on talent.
But that's key to why the talent and the quality is so good, because they did delay that expansion. You know, that's why the product is so sellable, is so watchable, because they didn't go every single male team gets a team. Yeah, because they realised that they didn't have the pool of talent depth there to draw upon. But now you do. And I'm not saying the NRLW is perfect. I mean, on this podcast, we've talked to premiership winning players, the Brisbane Broncos, from last year, who, after they won their grand final, then the men won their grand final, and security didn't let the women onto the field to celebrate with the men. Like,
don't.
You know, and eventually that got overturned. But I understand it's not perfect, but I just think that you have to give the sport a chance. You have to give the AFLW a chance. Why do you keep wanting it to achieve when you've tied its hands behind its back?
It starts giving the energy, and you're so right, it's almost like the question that's being asked is, but what if it fails? Instead of going, but what if it flies? Like, as in having it at the SCG. What if the question was, but how do 15,000 people look at that stadium? Yes, they can sell out 9,000, at a smaller ground where people know they're going to have a certain experience. What would it look like at the SCG? Yeah, what would it look like, though, if they got 35, 40,000?
Yeah.
What would that look like? What would it do to have an historic match at an historic ground?
Yeah.
And there wasn't actually a conflict. There isn't a Swans game that's happening at the SCG at the same time. And I think that's the thing. Like, I also feel like, I think if you speak to most women's players, and I've spoken to a few about this, obviously since the story's become something that's gained a bit of momentum, they don't hate a curtain raiser. They hate the term curtain raiser, but a double header that allows you to engage people that already have memorabilia of a club to go, oh, we can go earlier to the game and catch the women's match. I don't think that's a bad thing either. And again, it's something that NRL have done so well with the grand final. It helps when they're the same team. In
general as well. Like, that's initially how, I grew to love. I mean, obviously, I'm predispositioned, but this is the thing, right? I'm the target audience. I'm predispositioned to love my women's team because I love the men's team. However, they often in the NRLW, they would have these double headers. So you got to learn the players, you got to know them, and so you got to follow them, therefore, and then that builds that fan base. So I do think that mindset has slightly shifted with AFLW. I feel that when it first started and it took off and it was amazing, of course, and then the expansion. And then I do feel like there was this pushback from some players, and they're allowed to have these opinions. They're playing the game, that they really hated perhaps the fact that they needed, in inverted commas, to be a, inverted commas, curtain raiser. But I do think that there's a bigger shift now for perhaps a bigger majority or a bigger cohort to agree with you and be like, well, hang on, maybe we do need to go back to this double header format.
And the other thing that the NRL has in advantage to the AFL, which I think we can't overlook, is that rep footy where you get to see the best of the best and how great it can look with the condensed best talent in the league. And also that there is an Australian team that play rugby league. And we saw that with Vegas, right? That you can take the best over in the world and you can see it at its pinnacle. That's why this is so exciting for me. And again, props to the AFL for funding this.
Incredible concept. I love it.
They're not playing international rules. They're playing AFL. They're playing Aussie rules. So this is going to be the very best from all the clubs coming together for the first time, being able to learn from each other and us to see what does this best Aussie team look like. It's like the All-Australian having a crack.
Which, can I just say, you know this about me. I've always been very confused by the All-Australian because the team doesn't play. So
no, but also the team couldn't play because there's 48 midfielders that get picked.
Yeah,
like
true.
As in they don't pick role players. They pick people like.
But this is such
like,
a wonderful
we can't
opportunity
possibly
to
not
see
have him.
an actual international version of Aussie rules.
Yeah.
For me, it's a no-brainer. I don't know if it can be moved or will be moved, but like the groundswell is there. The proof is in the hot takes in the comments.
I know, but it's also one of those ones that I was like, at the time, I didn't think I was saying anything that people would have such visceral reaction to. And a lot of people, let's be honest, it's a manosphere coming of it, being like, well, it just proves that women don't support sport. Or, if you don't go to AFLW matches, you can't have a say on where it should be. And all of that. And it's always going to be there. A lot of what would you know, all of that.
Oh, and the goalposts just continually move. Do you know what I mean?
Well, that's the other thing. You can move the goalposts if you really want to. You could have made it because I think that was something that was advantageous for North Sydney is it's a smaller ground, but it's also very round. It's going to, I don't know. I love North Sydney and some of my favourite women's cricket matches I've seen at North Sydney, but this is going to be an interesting one.
I have a potential hot take that I'm going to lead into the fun fact of it all.
Fantastic.
To finish off this ep. With one of our favourite international athletes, actually, yes, she happens to be a female athlete, snowboarder Chloe Lim. I don't know if you've seen this, but again, content that appears to have been made in a lab for you and I. Want to get your thoughts on. This is her talking to her probably millions of TikTok followers about a little message, a PSA, if you will, to her fans when they recognise her out in the wild, and they want to get a photograph with her. Chloe, you explain.
If you are going to stop me for a photo and you're going to post it, Facetune me too, okay? Stop. Just Facetuning yourself, looking all gorgeous, and I'm next to you like, don't. That's rude.
Comment on that from Coco Goff. So real.
When she finishes with rude, it's like that meme's like rude. That's pretty fucking rude. It does seem rude. It does seem rude. Oh, I love it.
Yes. Hands down. I mean, Joey, we're not necessarily as famous as Chloe Bloody Lim or Coco Goff. However, you and I both have had those moments, and I love Too Good Sports. Please continue to come up and find us in the wild.
Boundary photos never flattering.
Oh.
Your head looks enormous. You're like trying to get in there and do the right thing, but you're also like, oh, can that not see the light of day?
Never more humbling. Also, if you get a photo with us and you are privy to a bit of a filter, chuck it on. I'm not, there's other people that might be like, just let me be natural. This is how I look.
Oh, darling, you know how I feel about the light in these studios. It's an attack. It's an attack. What's our fun fact?
That.
Oh, that's okay. Our fun fact is Chloe Lim's one of ours.
Filters can be good, guys. Filters can be good is what I want to leave us on.
I'm going to double down with the fun fact, is that Alexander Zverev is allergic to grass, literally. Has an allergy attack. So when he was taking on Sinner, I'm like, that bloke's battling what people in Melbourne have with plane trees. He's stuffed. Oh, it's real.
I
thought it was like a joke.
He's allergic to Grand Slams is what he is.
He's won one because everyone fell over. Come on. Let's not have a break again.
Oh, I know. We needed the bye week, but we're back. We're back,
did.
guys. We're back.
We
We're back.
did.
And just in time because the Broncos winning everything.
Oh, how has it got to this point and I haven't mentioned this? George.
We're back.
No, we went straight into our good sports and didn't highlight the news that's broken and broken my heart. Georgie Tunney, the new host of Ninja Warrior Australia, after I said Ninja Warrior is ruining the Olympics. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you so much for saying that. Look, genuinely, I'm so thrilled. I'm so excited. I'm like a kid again. I'm so giddy to be working with Robert Irwin and Bo Ryan. Like, it's honestly going to be great. And I would like it known for the record that I was in favour of Ninja Warrior, and you were also on the record saying that you loved the show. You were in favour of the show. You just weren't
Big
so
fan.
sure about it being included in the Olympics. Well, I tell you what, we're going to change that narrative. We're going to change that narrative. We're going to change your minds. We're going to change hearts and minds with Australian Ninja Warrior. Can I also just say, though, if you've reached this point of the episode, dear listener, can you imagine me on the course?
No, but I can, in that I just think it needs to happen, and it will happen.
It will happen, but me trying to survive on a monkey bar versus Robert Irwin doing backflips from a moving train, probably, and then Bo Ryan like swinging like Tarzan from some vine somewhere, and I'll just come crashing on in with knee pads and shin pads.
No, she's the people's Ninja Warrior, and I can't believe I buried the lead at this point. We will find a way to bump that up. But, Georgie, until next week.
Oh, be a good sport.